What's up, guys? Adrian Galindo from Undeniable MMA here. In my endless quest for glory and riches, I decided to start a YouTube channel, give you guys some background on what it's like to be a professional MMA fighter, and just kind of give breakdowns, information, and some instructionals, kind of teach you guys how to start your own journey, start your own path. And first thing up, a lot of the feedback I've been getting is kind of people are uncertain of what gear to buy and what they need for different things. So we'll start off with just basically what my daily kind of loadout looks like. Obviously, everyone's gonna differ. You definitely don't have to go and buy a bunch of stuff. If it's your first day in, always try to go like minimal. Only buy stuff after you've really kind of committed. But we'll go ahead and get started with first up, grappling. So for grappling, generally speaking, there's going to be mostly two types. No-gi, which is just, athletic wear. Shorts, something that particularly won't ride up, won't get caught. Kind of stretchy material, but a little closer to your legs. Same thing with a shirt. You definitely don't want to have something super loose, getting toes, fingers, hands caught in it. You have to kind of reset. I prefer short sleeve. A lot of guys like long sleeve because your skin does get nice and slippery when you get sweaty. So they particularly like long sleeves to kind of keep that sweat off, build up a little friction. After no gi, we also do have gi, which is going to be one of these, like a big Japanese judo gi. They usually come with pants and a belt as well. Obviously, most people are familiar with the belt ranking system. White through black, you get white, blue, purple, brown, black, and degrees in between. None of that is going to be crazy important. The most important thing is just kind of figuring out where you want to start and exactly what you kind of want to get into first. For grappling as well, two things that I would definitely recommend. For no-gi in particular would be like some wrestling shoes. Even for boxing, just to kind of save your toes a little bit. It doesn't help a lot when you start adding in foot locks, but at least it can save your feet quite a bit of tweaking and stuff. And then the other one would be some headgear. You'll see it a lot in collegiate and high school wrestling. Just goes right over the head, clips underneath the chin, and it just protects your ears. Particularly if you do start training, when you do get some cauliflower ear, hurts like a bitch. So definitely want to get some headgear going. Now, moving on from grappling, generally we're going to have, really there's three kind of types of striking. Obviously, I'm going to get some keyboard warriors in the comment section being like, there's actually 1,000,006. It's really just kind of limited by what you're using. Obviously, the one people are probably most familiar with is boxing. So it's just hands, right? Anytime you're throwing just hands, generally you're going to have some boxing gloves, 16, 20 ounce gloves that you train with. Depending on the promotions, they'll change out the ounces as well that they require. Those will look like these. These are Muay Thai gloves, so they're going to be a little bit smaller. They're 14 ounce gloves. I would definitely recommend Fairtex, Yokow. The brand honestly isn't crazy important. I will put links at some point to all the equipment that I prefer and even like the websites to go looking around. But if you're anything like me and you're trying to get started, when I was trying to get started, I did not want to spend $100 million. So I tried to buy kind of like cheaper stuff, which is fine at first. And then once you kind of build up a better basis, a better background, and you've decided that it's going to be your lifestyle, then you can start investing in better gear. So as far as boxing or even anything just with the hands, I also would definitely recommend some wraps. We're going to hit a wrapping video next in the series, which my beautiful technological skills will perfectly place right down there. I prefer 180-inch rolls. Like the longer wraps will give you a little bit better kind of structure in your hands. Wrapping, there's kind of a common misconception that wrapping helps your opponent, or like it almost, makes like the gloves and the wraps kind of take away the blows. It actually helps you more than it helps your opponent, at least in my opinion. You can throw a lot harder and you don't have to worry about breaking your hands. If you've ever boxed like bare knuckle or hit a bag even bare knuckle, you'll notice that your wrist bones tend to slide around a lot, which can really pretty easily tear ligaments, tear tendons, break your bones. Not super fun. So as far as training, the whole point of training is you want to be able to do it as much as you can, as hard as you can, without injuring yourself. So as much support I would definitely recommend, and hand wraps are definitely part of that. Boxing is going to be primarily like striking. Number one, it's just hands. A lot of being able to throw you have your straights, your hooks, your uppercuts, and then variations on those. Then we have kickboxing, right? There's American kickboxing, which is its own thing. I prefer Muay Thai because Muay Thai, you have elbows, you have knees, and then you have some pretty substantial kicks. So for anything where you're going to start throwing kicks, we definitely want to incorporate some shin pads. And again, I recommend Fairtex, Yokow. There's some other stuff, cheaper stuff for sure that will hold up, especially if you're not training 2 times a day, 7 days a week. I think you can kind of take some of those hits on not buying super nice gear at first. The 2 things I forgot to bring today, I would definitely recommend if you're going to be doing some Muay Thai, is going to be elbow pads and knee pads. When you first start Muay Thai especially, most schools aren't going to really let you throw elbows and knees. One, because elbows do have a propensity to cut. There's not a lot of skin covering this bone. So whenever you kind of hit, especially something like bony like your face, the shear force between the skin tends to cut really easily. So a lot of schools will kind of wait until you're more advanced. That being said, definitely would invest in some knee pads and elbow pads for when you do start sparring with knees and elbows. It'll be a nice little control factor for when you can't, if somebody bobs when they should weave and you just throw an elbow at the right time, having that pad there could save some legitimate injury. We also have, we got boxing, we got kickboxing, and then we're going to get into MMA as well, right? So MMA now we're striking with the ability to take people down and grapple as well. So I personally, I'm a fan of MMA. That's most of my background now. That's most of my drive now, personally, because I believe it's the most applicable just across the board. If you're a really good boxer, but I can take you down, I'm gonna beat you up. If you're a really good wrestler, but I can box you, I'm gonna beat you up. Even if you're a good boxer and a good wrestler, but you're not very good at kicks and you can't manage that distance well, I'm gonna beat you up. So it's just kind of the most all-encompassing art, personally, and I think it is, it's the best one in my opinion. So for MMA, the thing that changes, we're definitely going to want to get some fingered gloves. That's going to allow us to use our hands to grab, grip, actually grapple, where with the big like pillowy gloves, it's a lot harder to maneuver. Even though with Muay Thai, you do have those big gloves and they do work a lot in the clinch, it becomes a little different when you start driving in underhooks and overhooks, all these grappling concepts that we'll cover in future videos. But for the most part, those are going to be the really big important ones. I'm also going to run you through a couple things that I personally think are a bit of a lifesaver in terms of health, cleanliness, even like little cheat codes, and obviously safety, right? So number one for safety, definitely if you're doing any sort of striking, from a boys, I imagine girls it would help too, but for the boys especially, you're gonna want a good quality cup. Again, I prefer Diamond MMA. I know there's a lot of really good like Thai cups, steel cups and stuff like that. It depends on the promotion you're fighting with. They might not let you wear a steel cup, but for the most part, these Diamond MMA shorts, big fan of not having a string up my ass holding a cup in place. So these are, in my opinion, the best. I prefer them to pretty much every other cup. Cleanliness is a big one, especially when you get into grappling and you guys are constantly like grinding against each other, skin to skin. You have, if you're lucky like us and you have a giant open mat where you have 100 people, it's really easy to kind of transmit a lot of skin to skin illnesses. So I would definitely recommend some sort of sanitizer spray. Luckily, my coach, one of my coaches, Jay Pages, the famous Jay Pages here at Jay Pages Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, he has a little recipe that, again, technologically, we'll put the link in the bio, but it's just basically a bunch of essential oils, alcohol, and you can just spray it on your skin at the end of training, spray it on your gear, and it can kill a lot of those bacteria that do transmit those diseases, especially if you don't have time to immediately shower. If you're driving home, or if maybe your school doesn't have a shower at their school, I would definitely recommend some sort of skincare routine, because staph can literally kill people. If you want to ever see some gross stuff, look up MRSA online and check out those Kevin Randleman pictures. They're disgusting. But also for your equipment, right? Your equipment gets really smelly and gross after a little while. So I would definitely recommend spraying that down after every practice. And that'll definitely cut down on the incidence of skin issues at your school or just at wherever you're training, if you're just training with your homies. Also, what we want to make sure we defend is our $1,000 smile. So mouth guards are going to be a big one, right? I personally prefer the Impact mouth guards. They do a phenomenal job. They send you a bite mold, and then they store your mold for 6 months. So if you ever want to buy more, it is a little pricier. So you can definitely do the boil and bites. I did boil and bites for the last 7-8 years, whatever it's been, even in high school wrestling. The boil and bites protect you a decent amount. They just don't fit as well, and they definitely don't defend as well as a custom mouth guard like the guys at Impact do, which again, I'm a big fan of everything they've done so far. With that being said, I would also recommend, if you do go through Impact, even if you don't, getting a little spray for your mouthpiece. This, again, cleanliness, really, it's kind of a gross thing we do. We come in, sweat, and bleed all over each other. So you want to make sure that you're constantly cleaning, you don't smell bad. We're going to have an etiquette video next. So we'll definitely cover some of the basic etiquette in gyms. But don't smell bad is definitely one of them. Don't get people sick is another one. So as much cleaning supplies as you can get that, aren't going to set you back a crazy amount of money is definitely worth it. On that note, we also have body wash. Doesn't really matter what body wash you buy. Whatever you like to use, I would definitely recommend. But I personally just carry body wash basically with me every day, and that helps to keep me from getting staph and MRSA and impetigo and all these fun things to say. So that's kind of the basic loadout. Obviously, there's always going to be more stuff you can buy. There's always going to be things that you may prefer equipment-wise, don't prefer equipment-wise, things that you're going to, like better than other things. I would say start out minimally as possible. I know money is a big issue for a lot of people, so don't go overspending. Just buy the least amount of stuff that you can buy, and just start training. Well, that's everything from me, Adrian Galindo over at Undeniable MMA. You can follow my Instagram at undeniable_the, and keep up on my upcoming fights, upcoming tournaments. Out here to try to make you guys into better fighters, better people. Go fucking fight someone.